Usability and Reflection. I created a survey using typeform.com. I chose that site because I was looking for the ability to create a detailed report and graphs, and I thought it would be the perfect site to use. I was hoping to have some really good response to my survey. Because I work in a small private school, I don't have access to a lot of people that I could immediately reach out to, but I had a group of other Spanish teachers in the diocese I thought would be interested in seeing the course I developed and then giving me comments. And also I offered to give them any materials that I created for the course. Sadly, I didn't get a single person from the diocese to offer to give me a review. I mentioned this during class, and I had 4 people in the class in our 5318 class offer to take a look at my course. Out of the 4, only 2 were able to complete the survey for me. And what that tells me is, number one, as far as the people who I reached out to in the diocese, they're all in the same boat as I am. Generally, the only teacher teaching Spanish in the school, teaching all grades. There's not a lot of time, and what I was asking really was quite a lot of work for them, especially coming up on into the first quarter. Second, the people from our class 5318 who volunteered, I'm going to have to assume that the work was just too cumbersome and they were not able to complete the survey because they had their own work and their own homework to do. So what that tells me is that in creating the survey, I was following the guidelines in the assignment that said that, the people needed to be looking at the work and the survey would be a total of about 45 minutes. So I created a comprehensive survey, and I think it really was too long. It was just a little too cumbersome. So in the future, when I create a survey, I'm going to try to make the survey itself shorter, and in my instructions, just ask that they look at whatever material it is that I am presenting to them, looking at it quite thoroughly so that they know what they're going to be answering questions about. I also, let's take a look here. So there's a question in here about, here are my survey results. You can see that there's not a lot going on with the survey results. I didn't have hardly any responses, which is really kind of disappointing because I put a lot of work into this and I was hoping to get some feedback, some really good feedback. However, I did give myself some feedback in that I kept looking over my course and I kept trying to figure out what it is that I missed. And I found several things that I felt like needed to be in the course that I originally developed. So I'm adding, and I feel like I'm going to continue to add to my course, and it's going to eventually be a very comprehensive course. For example, one of the things that I had omitted or failed to add in the initial stages was anything that had to do like an explicit grammar lesson. And so I went back in and I started adding an explicit grammar lesson to each week. And I didn't have any explicit writing assignments. And so I want to do that as well. And another thing that I really enjoy doing with my course is having projects, because I think hands-on learning is so good for the students. And I didn't have that in there either. So in reviewing myself, I know that those are some areas that I can improve upon. I did get some feedback from a friend who did take a look at it for me, and that those were a couple of the things that they also mentioned to me. The projects and the grammar was the main thing on the list. I went ahead and answered all of the questions in this format on my page, and my references at the bottom. But all of the questions that were posed in the assignment have been answered here. I have a copy of my survey results. I have a copy of the original survey questions. And I think overall, I feel like the project was a good project for me in a lot of ways. And one of the main things that I'm taking away from this is that I had to create my project in a personal Google Classroom. I could not use the Google Classroom for my school. So in doing that, I realized I can create all of my units for everything that I teach in my personal Google Classroom. And no matter where I go to teach, that personal Google Classroom is mine. It goes with me. It has all of the attachments of everything that I need. And I won't have to keep reinventing the wheel each time I move from school to school. So in that regard, I thought, I don't know why I hadn't thought of it before. I'm sure many teachers have already been doing this for years and have their own Google Classroom set up with all of their information, and all they have to do is just access it. All I can say in my defense is that I can still consider myself a relatively new teacher, and I'm still learning, some of the ins and outs, and I think this is one thing that I'm definitely going to be taking with me. Overall, I thought that the project was a good project. It helped me really think through everything that needed to be included in a complete course in making it. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time.